Welcome to Coffee with the Port St. Lucie Mayor. Of course, we'll be visiting with him very shortly. We start this program off every month. First of all, we do it the second Friday of the month, 8:30 a.m. right here at the Council Chambers at City Hall in Port St. Lucie. And I am Terissa Aronson from the St. Lucie County Chamber of Commerce, President and CEO, and we facilitate this event every month with the help of many others. Of course, Silver Platter Entrees that provides coffee in Danish and all of the staff here at City Hall. But we're going to start, as we always do, with our sponsor. And for this entire year, we have as our partner Treasure Coast Healthcare System. And of course, that's the HCA family, St. Lucie Medical Center, Heart and Family Institute, Lawnwood Regional Medical Center, and Heart Institute. And today we have with us Dr. Barbara Moore. And Dr. Moore is she just explained to us, and you all missed it because you didn't come down, a social worker. And you went over some of the places you went to school, and we'll start with that. So you call yourself a social worker, and you are a doctor. And what is your background?
Okay, I'm a PhD doctor, not an MD doctor.
Very good.
Important to know, okay, but I am a licensed clinical social worker. My doctorate is in social welfare. My background and my research background is in psychiatry.
Very good.
Okay.
Okay, it does make there is a difference there. And you work at the intensive behavioral unit for Lawnwood.
It's the intensive outpatient program.
Okay.
Would you like to know a bit about what that is? Okay. Intensive outpatient is for people who need a little more than regular outpatient treatment, where you see a therapist once a week or something like that. But they're safe to stay at home and don't need to be in the hospital. So this could be a step down from the hospital, somebody who recently was in the hospital, or it could be someone who just needs more treatment. The intensive outpatient program meets 3 days a week, 3 mornings a week from 8:30 to noon, so it's quite intensive. That's nine hours of direct treatment.
Yeah.
And average length of stay in the program would be about 6 to 10 weeks.
Okay.
So it's really an opportunity to make some changes and jumpstart
your mental health.
Yeah, exactly, and to regain functioning and get your life going again. So people come and they're motivated and work hard, and often we see very good changes for people.
Now, we talk about this a lot, kind of in the nonprofit world, that mental health is just sort of the spark to so many other issues, and we don't have enough mental health awareness and care really available. I know that Major Ty at the jail, the St. Lucie County Jail, says that mental health is a huge problem for them because sometimes they're masking underlying issues with, illegal problems. So what do you find to be a major concern for the mental health and well-being for our citizens right now?
Awareness is one thing, just to know how huge the problem is. I was teasing about thinking it's the other guy because in reality, the statistics are that pretty much about half of United States citizens will experience a diagnosable mental health problem within their lifetimes. And so that means that if you have not yet experienced this, you have pretty good odds.
50-50 chance is what you're telling me.
Yes, and if it's not you.
And I look around the room and that seems about accurate, doesn't it?
Right.
But no, and all kidding aside, because sometimes things are situational, but you may need mental evaluation and care for a certain situation that may be arduous.
These things are really, really treatable. And so people sometimes suffer for years because they don't want to ask for help, so that's an issue. Awareness is an issue. Knowing the size of the problem, all the jails are full of people who could use help in that area. Certainly, I think the number 1 or number 2 reason for visits to the emergency rooms are for mental health related problems. So this is a huge cost to society.
Huge.
And a huge personal cost to people and their families. So if you know of anybody who needs our services, I was handing out business cards earlier, just give us a call directly, you know?
There's no way that anybody has been unaffected by mental health issues in their family or loved ones, and we are as taxpayers. It is very costly to our society, and I feel the government needs to catch up with the needs.
Jails, for example, that's the most expensive way possible to deal with some of these problems, and maybe mental health could help there.
Now,
EAPs are another area, something like employers, because I know there are people in the room who have employees or who have companies, small or large, and it's what to do with that employee that may need assistance, and you don't want to get directly involved because you're the employer. Right, exactly. But to have that resource available for employees
and I'm
to know about.
seeing a lot of online or Skype mental health help for employees through employee services. How do you feel about that? Is it better than nothing?
Our intensive program couldn't work that way.
No.
Probably. It's better than nothing. I don't know. So much. It's such a personal transaction, and I don't know. It may depend on the person.
It's always going to depend on your therapist or your doctor or whoever it is you're seeing. Now, I always go by the old adage: if you're questioning your mental health, you're probably pretty good. Is that true? If you're concerned about it, you're probably ahead of the game.
Don't go too deep.
I know. Hey, this is free. This is free services up here. This segment might go a little long. People, buckle in. All right, go ahead.
Well, this is the thing about the stigma, is that people don't want to say, I have a mental health problem. I mean, that's terrible. But people, or it sounds terrible, people might be comforted to know that anxiety disorders are the most common diagnosable mental health issue. These are extremely painful. They cause people major problems. People tend to contract and stop doing things because they're afraid of this or that, or they don't like crowds and it makes them nervous, so they don't go out. That's a mental health problem.
You can work on that.
That is fixable. Depression is very common. Bipolar disorder is pretty common. All these things are fixable. We also treat substance abuse when it occurs with mental health issues.
Which a great deal of it does.
Right.
Very good.
Which often happens. And there again, too, people don't want to say, I have a substance abuse issue, you know.
Of course.
But they may well know that they take too many of their pain pills, or they're on some kind of medication and they are too attached to it. And those are problems that we can help with, too.
Very good. So that you shouldn't be ashamed. So a lot of people need help even for just a little while, and maybe something is masking something else.
Right.
And just get to the bottom of it.
Right.
There's no shame in that.
Exactly. Figure out how it all fits together.
Very good. Yeah. Well, I enjoyed having you. I'm going to have to cut it off here because I know I'm going to go too deep here. I'll be up here for an hour. If they bring in a couch, we'll just stay for the rest of the day.
Okay.
All right. But thank you for being with us, and hopefully they'll send you again.
Okay.
It'd be very nice. And for all of you, stay with us. We'll be right back with the reason why we're here. Of course, the Mayor of Port St. Lucie, Gregory Oravec, and it'll just be a few minutes. Thank you. Welcome back to Coffee with the Port St. Lucie Mayor, and I'm Terissa Aronson from the St. Lucie County Chamber of Commerce. We do this event every second Friday of the month, 8:30, right here at City Hall. It's free, open to the public. We throw in coffee and Danish, courtesy of Silver Platter Entree, and of course, we visit with none other than the mayor of this beautiful city, Gregory Oravec.
Good morning, everybody.
Welcome. Thank you for being with us.
Always a pleasure to be with you.
I'm very cheery today.
You are? Well, it's a holiday weekend.
I know. Easter, it's a candy holiday. I'm a big fan of a candy holiday.
And also resurrection renewal.
Yes, that's part of it. And peeps.
Yeah.
Resurrection renewal.
It's really more about the resurrection than the peeps, but there are peeps.
I'm kidding, of course, but yes. What are we going to talk about today before we go on a religious...
With that start,
I know, and I don't want to go too far. We're moving on to something else. What'd you bring with you?
Well, I don't know if anyone in the audience read it, did an op-ed, and it was out or will be out in iCare. It was in the local TC Palm and across all channels. It was on our debt. And we also had a very, very positive headline in the last 2 weeks. The City Council voted to pay down $7.3 million of debt. That's debt buy down for the City Center SAD.
Very good.
And so that was kind of the biggest story. So debt is one of those hot button issues here locally and then also nationally. And there's several reasons for us to cheer. One, it's clear that our city council is serious about paying down debt. Since the high water mark, we've paid down about 20% of the city's debt. So if you think, how would the federal government feel if they paid off 20% of our debt? Pretty good. So we're definitely moving in the right direction. And with this pay down on the city center bonds, we will have about $761,000 more per year in free cash flow. And you probably know, just in your home budget, when you free up cash, then you can put it to work for better purposes. And you like to put it to work for things other than paying off credit card debt or even your car payment or mortgage. You want to put that money to work, and that's what we're doing for the people of Port St. Lucie.
Even in business, you want to make sure that you're
in business, it's all about the free cash flow.
It is. And do you feel...
Leads to profit, right?
This was a great decision. I will contest to that. I think it was a great decision to work on the debt issues because every city has them, and we want to keep ours relatively low and keep our rating for bonds high if we can. But do you think also legislation in the House, State's House and Senate is kind of urging cities to pay down debt?
Well, what I see out of the Florida legislature this session, in fairness, we see many good things thanks to our legislative delegation who's championing projects like the McCarty Water Storage and Treatment Project, the Westmoreland Project, Riverwalk Extension Project, Sober Home legislation, reform legislation. Those are all good, but a lot of what we see out of the legislature this session is downright scary. And so I haven't felt the push for the city to pay down debt as a result of the legislative session. I've found many reasons to be concerned, highly concerned, especially what we call home rule. So the people of Florida once upon a time adopted a change of the Constitution that said cities had the right to self-govern on those things that weren't preempted and by the state. And just every session you have to worry about not only your requests, what you're asking for, what type of projects, whether it be McCarty or Westmoreland or Sober Home reform, but you have to say the do no harm. You don't want to be harmed by state legislation. There's all kinds of proposals this session that would be detrimental to our cities.
Local governments,
There's about 412 cities in the state of Florida. And the thing that always strikes me is that the state doesn't like it when the feds tell the state what to do. So why then would the state legislators want to tell the cities what to do? Cities and counties, in fairness. And so that's always a difficult thing. But there is fiscal, at least a representation of fiscal responsibility in the legislative session. I don't want to talk out of school, but obviously you see debates between different factions over whether we should invest in things like economic development and visit Florida.
Right, which I think they're both economic development, to be honest.
And then you also see it in our Senate President Negron's proposal for additional storage south of the lake, and whether or not any bonding should be used, any debt should be used for that project. And there's a fundamental debate that's happening there. It's pretty hard to do a $1.2 billion project or any kind of project that costs a big number that has a B in it without having a little bit of debt. I mean, how many of us cash funded our house?
Few.
Not me.
It's not the norm, and it's not the norm for government either, really. It is concerning. There is a lot of House bills, I think, mostly that are very concerning, and most of those concerning bills are kind of projects of House Speaker Corcoran. And I think there is a trickle-down effect that I don't think citizens are aware of. And I'm hopeful. Now that the economic development projects, Visit Florida, Enterprise Florida, I'm very hopeful that the governor wouldn't allow those to go away completely, maybe revamp them and bring them back. But it's important for people to know that tourism is driven by advertisement and marketing. I mean, you have a business. You can't just open the doors and they will come. That's not how business works. So we need to work as a state to make sure that people are continuing to come to Florida, both to visit for tourism, which is Visit Florida, and also bringing their businesses here. We need jobs continually. So we are very strongly against completely incapacitating Visit Florida or Enterprise Florida. So we think we're pretty safe there.
Well, we're all shaped by our environment. And what I'll say is that here especially, I can understand why we don't want to pick winners and losers through subsidies and actual cash grants and economic development. Yeah. So I really do understand that, and I'm actually probably on that side of the policy argument. But the Visit Florida thing and investing in marketing for tourism, that just seems like common sense, and I don't know why we'd pull back. We've had several years of record tourism, and everything's the same, only different. So could you imagine being a business or a large corporation and not advertising your product?
I know, it's senseless. Why bother having a product?
You know, what's TV and everything else based on? It's based on advertising and marketing and the importance of that. You get a degree in marketing, communication, you know, it's just,
and the return on investment, I think, is there for Visit Florida. I mean, we certainly have the stats to back up that they are bringing money into the state. And I tend to agree with you on Enterprise Florida. You always say you can't buy love.
That's right.
And
that is exactly what I say.
It is what you say.
Of course, I didn't say it
I've been here before. I've done this show with him before. But I do think that you're spot on with when do those incentives occur and in
Beatles
what form do they
sung
occur.
It better.
They did. Yeah. You know, you want to reward good behavior.
You ever see that movie with Patrick Dempsey, and he's the, I think it's Patrick, is that his name?
Is he the pizza
He's
driver?
the pizza guy, and he mows the lawn.
I knew where he was going.
Yeah, he did. It's like, wow, we're right there.
I know it. What's that called? Lover Boy or something like that, I think.
Yeah,
Can't buy me love.
Yeah.
It's too obvious. The voice comes down from the walls. Can't buy me love. It takes a village, doesn't it? People are yelling out answers from next door. All right, so very good. We covered a little bit of the politics topic. What else did you want to talk about? Things are going really great here, I think, in the city now. Anytime they go up to Tallahassee for 4 months, 5 months, which is going to turn into 6 months, it's a concern.
It really is a concern. But again, we're very fortunate to have a strong legislative delegation, and we are in the budget with our proposed budget with the requests. And the big thing is that you get a line item in there at this point, and then the negotiating happens right up to the last second.
Yeah.
So it's great that we're in there, and we appreciate the leadership. Just circling back to the debt real quick, talked about how we'd create $761,000 a year in free cash flow that we could put back to work. We'll also save about $16 million plus in interest. You know, so that's a lot of savings. And the other thing, it could go understated, is that we changed the structure of the bonds. It's going to make it easier to get City Center out of limbo, out of the hands of a court-appointed receiver and into the hands of a responsible owner developer. So that was one of the things there. And then just hitting debt in general, the high water mark was actually over $1 billion. We're down 20%. Most of that debt is for things like utilities. You know, about half of our debt is utility debt, and that's because we are, of course, incorporated in what year? 1961. And when did we take everyone other than former mayor? When did we take over the utility? Anyone know? I said anyone other than a former mayor, for goodness sakes.
Well, now yell out 94.
See, that just goes to show that a mayor can't take direction, I tell you. But
1994. Okay, very good.
And so there was a process where we took over general development and / the county's utility. They said, hey, you do it. And the council and the management team at the time said, okay, we will. And we did. And we went on to do one of the largest conversions in the country, both septic to sewer and then also water, and provided that service across the city, which is now 125 square miles. One of the largest cities, so 8th most populous, and then one of the largest geographically speaking, area-wise also.
How many of our residents, because the conversion project, for those of you that don't know, is if you're on a septic tank, you can take a small loan out with the utilities department of the city of Port St. Lucie.
Interest-free, yes.
Interest-free, and pay that over time. It's usually around $35 a month, but get hooked up to city water and sewer. And as you know, you've said before, the number one problem is number two. I'm quoting Greg today, like this is the...
No, what it is our city can't be number one if our river's full of number two.
Yeah. So we're trying to get people converted to septic because they are failing. They've been in there for a long time. But where are we at with that? Like, how do you have any idea how many we percentage-wise? Like, where do we?
70%.
70% are converted. Very good.
So that leaves plenty of opportunity. And one of the things that the legislature is working on, and the governor proposed, the governor proposes a budget, and the legislature kind of does whatever they want. But they are all working on funding for septic to sewer conversion. So we'll see what happens.
Will I get a rebate for when I did it then? If they
No, that's the risk you take. But just think of all that goodness you've enjoyed, and the benefit of knowing you've done the right thing for so many years.
Yes, and
what makes you so effervescent? You're so light.
Yes, I have nice city water. My hair's okay. I'll go with that.
But the big deal about not building a utility essentially until the 90s, it's not like it's Boston and we have wood pipes or something, and it was done 200 years ago. It was done with today's money, under modern requirements. So that was a very costly system. It's costly to build a utility, and that takes the money. And debt is not only a tool to do it, it's actually a way to achieve equity, fairness, so that it's not just the people at the very beginning that pay. Debt allows for the future people to also pay for the very thing from which they benefit. So it's really important. Good. And that's what I have to say about debt today.
Very good. Everybody got a debt lessons for the city of Port St. Lucie?
Some really exciting talk about numbers and finance. Now, you know how we always joke that if I write a paper on debt and put it on Facebook, 100 people look at it. If I say Chick-fil-A is coming, 50,000 people look at it within 24 hours. We joke about that, but actually the debt op-ed did get about 1,200 hits.
Oh,
so it did resonate with the people out there.
But the guy wanting free nuggets from Wendy's has got like 1 million. Well, we're moving into summer. It's April. We're getting ready to celebrate Easter. And in the summer, we do this is actually quite a little bit of an economic push for the county because it's a fishing tournament that the chamber does every year, the second week of May. And we actually give a $10,000 check to whoever drags the heaviest dolphin up to the scales. That looks pretty fresh. That's the other caveat. You can't,
This is only big enough for one of my biceps.
I know. Yeah. I think we have only small sizes left. But we're going to give away, I want a t-shirt cannon so bad, but I don't have one, so I'm going to allow the mayor to toss some of those out if it won't hurt. But if you have anybody in your family that owns a boat, make sure you tell them about this because it's an opportunity to win $10,000. It's a check that will clear for $10,000, and we give you the ceremonial big check. And very few tournaments in the southern United States offer that kind of money. And we're hoping, and you can have any size boat.
We're able to fund that prize because Terissa works for free.
I feel like it some days. But I don't. But yeah, it's huge for downtown businesses and hotels, even in St. Lucie County. And also it exposes people from all around the southern United States to our beautiful fishing waters, and we hope they will return. And typically they do because we actually have a really good return rate on anglers from out of state that come and fish this. So we're going to toss some of these out. Are you ready?
I think they're all mediums.
He's unwrapping them all, but...
I just had to check. Whoa! Quality control.
See what I would do with a cannon, though?
You're not going to make them work for it, huh?
Yeah. Oh, you can. What are you going to make them do, though? I'm just... Very nice.
Who else we got over there?
Very good. And I also want to talk about the summer months are big for us because we have year-long residents, and
You can thank her. I always make people work for it.
He does. Yeah. I would probably believe most of you are year-long residents, so we have great economic.
Spare the rod, spoil the child.
Yeah. We had great
we
economics
can't let the
development.
Children's Services Council
I know.
hear that.
Right in front of Children's
Yeah.
Services and the Early Learning Coalition. You all aren't hitting your kids enough. Welcome to coffee. Okay, we digress.
This is the HBO version of this show, just in case you were wondering.
The chamber didn't say that. I'm just going on record. Anyway, where were we?
On that note, let's open it up for questions.
Okay, let's do that.
They can't be any worse than we're doing.
No. Mark's got the mic, and he's going to bring it to you. Stephen?
Just a little caveat. You may want to clarify dolphin tournament for the people who don't fish.
Oh, yes. When I say dolphin tournament, we don't mean flipper. Don't drag flipper up to the scales. You will not fare well if you do that. But dolphin, Maui.
A mahi-mahi.
Yeah.
A dorado.
Yes. That's part of our trivia, the many names that a dolphin goes from. But yes, it is not flipper. It is actually a fish.
And dorado means what? In Espanol? What?
It means a fish. I thought we just clarified that. It's another word for a dolphin.
It's gold. And do you remember the city of El Dorado? Yeah?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, see that? See how we'll tie to something.
All right, this is South Florida. How did nobody know that?
¿Qué pasa con esto? So the dolphin fish lights up when it's attacking its prey or bait, and it lights up gold many times, and so that's where that name comes from. And in the Pacific, mahi-mahi. But here in Florida, it's dolphin. And because I am I won't say belligerent Floridian, but I will say that, what?
Adamant, proud.
Yes, thank you.
Proud
You're really on it today. Thank you for being there for me. When I go to a restaurant, it says mahi-mahi on the restaurant, on the menu. I have to say, oh no, I'd like a dolphin sandwich,
bring me the dolphin.
Please bring me a dolphin sandwich. And sometimes if you have a new server who has relocated, what do you mean dolphin sandwich?
They don't like that, I know. I used to do that in our ads, like with dolphins, and it didn't go over well. People got very protective over dolphins, the non-fish. Very good, thank you for that question.
What's the Japanese movie, unfortunately, where they do harvest?
Blackfish.
No, that's about the killer whale.
Orca.
Yeah, there is one though. Unfortunately, some places in the world they do harvest
Dolphins.
our friend's flipper.
Yeah,
dolphins.
Somebody else had a question over here.
I did.
Eve does. Get to Eve.
It's just some curiosity. There's a building on
Remember what curiosity did to the cat?
It brought him back.
In this case, I already know what she's going to ask.
Satisfaction brought him back.
Okay. The building just below Del Rio. Normally when they're building, you would see what they're building, but at this time, we don't know what it is, so just my curiosity. I'd like
Dialysis clinic.
Yeah, usually when they're building something retail, they put up signs so that you know it's coming, but this is a kidney dialysis center, so they're not.
Medical office.
Yeah, medical office.
Thank you.
Very good. Good question, though. Anybody
One of
else?
the many projects going up across the city right now.
We have a ton. Starbucks.
What kind of grand openings have you had
I was
recently?
at Walmart yesterday. They had Treasure Coast Band out, and it was great. You know I'm bad with time. Yesterday. It was in this week, probably. But yeah, I never know what day it is. They just point and send me on my way. But Walmart and Aldi opened finally. My parents were really happy about that. They're not with us today, but they were happy about that. And I don't even know. Yell them out, Loretta. Artisan Diner, yes. It used to be the Corner Grill. And Spiro, who has other restaurants in our community, opened the Artisan Diner right there, kind of by your house, Morningside. So we're excited about that. What else have we done?
We have two on Thursday, next Thursday. We have the Recovery Grill and Black Sea.
Oh, that's right.
I was hoping you would mention that, but I didn't know if they were chambermen.
Recovery Grill. I actually did a walkthrough. They invited us to do a walkthrough, and that's the one that Homewood Sweets Company owns, and it's right across from Tradition. And we're going out there on the 20th at 10:30. And then Black Sail, which is on Prima Vista. It's been a restaurant before in an office building there. They're opening up. When are they opening?
Same day, 4:30.
4:30. One in the morning, one in the evening. The 20th. It's a busy day for restaurants.
And I believe that Councilwoman Morgan is going to have her dish in District 1 at Black Sail.
At Black Sail. Yep. Yeah, we're very excited about it. There's a lot going on in the retail development and businesses opening. I think a couple months this year we've had 10, 15 grand openings, but we're excited about that.
That is exciting. What other questions do you have out there?
I have a question.
Jane has a question.
I am free tonight. Thank you for asking.
You're free, but you're not cheap.
You will pay.
A little information on, excuse me, on the Crosstown Parkway and when we're going to break ground to go over the bridge.
Oh, we have a groundbreaking, don't we, scheduled?
We do. It's May 9th? May 8th?
May 9th.
Oh,
he was
May
right.
9th. What
May
time? 10 a.m. out there in the field?
Sandia.
So Sandia and Crosstown, May 9th, 10 a.m.
Oh, we got a what year? We don't have any more T-shirts to throw. What year? Nice.
Could you get that knife out of my bag? I don't run until 2018. That's really weird.
This year, no, very soon. But that hurt.
Obviously this year, and but we always say, provided that we're not sued again. You know, we have won 3 legal actions in the last year alone, and those legal actions cost us, and when I say us, I mean the taxpayers, probably close to $1 million at this point. So hopefully it's smooth sailing from here on out. We did receive the Army Corps of Engineers permit. We're still waiting on the U.S. Coast Guard permit, and we should have that any day. You know, someday there'll probably be a book or 2 written about this, and honest to goodness, our heart goes out to our U.S. Coast Guard reviewer. He lost his son, and just tragic, just tragic.
Also, I want to mention May 20th is our Tourism Expo, where we do a huge expo of all tourism-related businesses, whether
Where's
it's
it at?
restaurants or attractions. It's going to be at the Fenn Center. It's a Saturday, and it's open to the public. It's free, and each one of those attractions will be giving away a prize, as well as one big, huge overall staycation. So we're excited about that. And we do that because we want the residents that live here year-round to be fully aware of what is in their backyard. And I take people on the leadership class every year, and a great majority of them have not been to the Navy SEAL Museum or the Historical Center. So we want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to go see those things because they're great.
Who's been to the SEAL Museum here in this room?
Oh, pretty good.
That's
Not
good.
bad.
We have a pretty active bunch here.
Yeah.
That's good. That's one of those day one trips. That's definitely worth going to.
And I think the Historical Center is probably right up there with them because it gives you all the background on our area, both, you know, all the entire county. And it also goes over the families that were really the Copal Guards and Bennies, the people that were here from the beginning that helped establish. So it's really interesting. I think you should know that. It's like Land Remembered. You should read it, and you should go to the Historical Center. So very good. What else do we got?
I'd like to recognize the 3 gentlemen there in the audience. They're not inmates.
Gary.
At least not yet for the one guy. But could you, Mark, could you go over there and just let our ambassador, Gary Smith,
It's
introduce
Gary
everybody?
Smith is an ambassador for the Chamber, and he's also a leadership graduate, but he has a small nonprofit called People Serious About Litter. And he was out early this morning picking up litter with 3 of his friends there. So Gary, I called him Larry. Sorry.
That's because of litter and Gary.
Yeah.
Gary Smith here. I have 2 of my litter friends. Roy picks up at the...
Yes, please. But all of you, please, all 3 of you.
There we go.
Yeah, you can take her direction. You don't have to look at Jane the whole time. Yeah.
Now she's going to be like, curtsy.
My name is Gary Smith. I'm the founder of People Serious About Litter, and I've, over a period of time, since 2011, I've gathered up a lot of helpers, and my more recent one is Nick here. He lives in Kings Isle, the land of people who have been abducted and taken to Fort Lauderdale.
Can we cut that piece out?
Yeah, we don't want to.
Cut that out. Sorry about that. anyway, I derail myself. Nick lives in my neighborhood, and he goes out with me 3 days a week now. And Roy lives down at the bottom of on Sea Lion off of Darwin, and he picks up every Friday, and I meet him somewhere between McDonald's and Becker Road, and I give him a ride home, and we spend some time together. So these guys they're not only litter pickers, but they're interested in learning about the city.
Very good. Thank you for being a
Gary, how could people contact you to join your band of Merry Litter Picker-Uppers?
They can call me on my cell phone, which is 412-977-0426, or they can email me at Shack, that's like Radio Shack, Shack, SHACK.Smith@Comcast.net.
Perfect.
Thank you. And then also the Adoptive Street and Adoptive Park programs through the City of Port St. Lucie and our website. Could also do it there, but we really celebrate the people who are there in the trenches, so to speak, helping to keep Port St. Lucie safe,
Beautiful.
clean, and green.
Well, we probably should get to our Community Impact Award. I said it right, my first try, from the Children's Services Council. I know, I feel good about it. I feel good. It's the extra height that's making me smarter. So we're going to be right back with Sean Boyle, the Executive Director from the Children's Services Council, because we want to meet our Community Impact Award winner this month.
All right.
Welcome back to Coffee with the Port St. Lucie Mayor. I'm Terissa Aronson here with, of course, none other than the Mayor of Port St. Lucie, Gregory Oravec. And we invited up from the Children's Services Council Executive Director, Mr. Sean Boyle. And this month's, of course, Community Impact Award winner. I knew I was going to, I know, I almost got through an entire show without screwing up the name. But our Community Impact Award winner. And this month, I know our Community Impact Award winner.
You know, do you want to introduce her?
We.
So at the Children's Services Council, we have 5 priorities. You know what those 5 priorities are, right?
I do.
Making sure every baby's a healthy baby, stopping child abuse before it happens, keeping kids off the streets, keeping them off drugs, alcohol, and other risky behaviors, and keeping them in school.
Yes.
And one of the things that we've done recently, and the mayor and I have spoke about it, and we presented the city council meeting, was this whole grade level reading initiative called St. Lucie Reads. And when we talk about keeping kids in school, we obviously can do that by having them be successful in school. But a lot of the building blocks that are ingrained in children for them to be successful in school happen well before they even enter the classroom.
They say by 3rd grade. If you can't read, by 3rd grade, you're learning to read.
But I mean, even before that, even before they enter kindergarten, a lot of the imprints, the building blocks of brain development happen even before they enter kindergarten.
Right when you come out, Terissa, right when you come out.
Which leads me to our guest today. So, you know, we have an entity in St. Lucie County called the Early Learning Coalition, headed by somebody in the audience.
Tony Loop.
Tony Loop, who also dances on the side.
Please Google that.
And Google that.
And wears heels. As
Exactly.
No, full fishnets.
Exactly.
Google
Total side, but
only for good causes.
Early Learning Coalition works with parents, working parents or parents that are in school to make sure that they are enrolled in quality childcare.
Okay.
So while they're at work, their child is engaged in learning activities literally from birth to pre-kindergarten. And our Community Impact Award winner, the Director of Programming at Labella, works every day to make sure that those child care centers are offering quality child care services. So we present the Community Impact Award today to Ms. Labella, the Director of Programming from the Early Learning Coalition.
Thank you. Thank you. Deb, I'm going to ask you a couple questions because you've been with I know I've been with the Early Coalition for a long time. And you've been there since way before me.
We almost gave you the award. But,
I've been on the board for a very long time. And how long have you been with the?
I have been with the coalition almost 4 years.
Almost 4 years? Okay.
Almost 4 years.
Oh, I have been there longer than her. I didn't know
longer.
that. All right, very good. And so you go out and you visit the centers all the time and you just make sure that what they're doing is helpful in the development of these children.
It is, and one of our roles is really to work with our private child care centers to make sure that the teachers have the support and the education that they need to help our youngest children be ready for school, early identification, early intervention of services that they may need.
Because apparently, as soon as you get them out, they got to start reading.
It's by age 3.
Yeah, okay.
It's not by age 3, but their brain development is very important up to the age of 3. If a child's brain, for a lot of children that experience trauma, for instance, their brain doesn't develop appropriately. So by age 3, they're already behind with brain development, and it takes special services to catch them up so that they're ready for kindergarten, so that they're ready for 3rd grade, so that they graduate high school.
And those are probably considered their formidable years, you know,
It's
where
very
so much of
formative
their
years.
makeup is kind of determined.
And it's about relationships for children, and it's about making sure that children have a caring adult in their life that can guide them and give them what they need and help them along the way. And that's part of what we do, is we make sure that the child care centers and the teachers are that caring adult.
Very good. All right.
So I appreciate this. I do thank you, and I was very shocked, but I do thank you. And without my amazing team at the Early Learning Coalition and our community partners, there's a lot of work to be done, and together we are doing it. So on behalf of all of us, this means a lot. So thank you very much for the recognition.
You're very welcome.
And I want to get a plug in for the Early Learning Coalition, and even for Children's Services. We are accepting books, right?
Yep, so we have an initiative partnership with multiple agencies, including obviously the Early Learning Coalition. It's called St. Lucie Reads. You can go to stluciereads.org. There's 3 ways that we're trying to engage the community and the importance of making sure that every child can read by 3rd grade. One is to, if you're a parent or grandchild or parent or grandparent, make sure you're reading to your child, even if they just came out of the womb, as you said. At 1 month old, you need to be reading to that child every single day. And if you're a grandparent and your child lives here, you call your child and say, "Are you reading to my grandchild every day? If not, I'm coming over to read." Second one is to become a reading mentor. It's a 1-hour commitment to a week. It has a 90% success rate of improving the reading of struggling readers, kindergarten through 3rd grade. And the last one, and if you haven't figured out a way to get involved, this one's easy, is donate those books that are sitting in your garage, those children's books that nobody's looked at in years. Donate them. We are repurposing them to make sure that children who don't have access to books have access to them. So for example, we're setting up little libraries in churches, barbershops, here in the city of Port St. Lucie, any place where families come and have a waiting area, so a child can take a book and read while they're waiting. If they happen to walk away with the book, that's okay, because that's a book in their home. And with those donated books, we go and repopulate those little libraries. And we also have doctors that are writing prescriptions to families to read books and giving those donated books as well.
Do you have a telling fact on the book deficit in certain households?
I do. I know you're a data guy, and you're setting me up for this. I appreciate that. So the national statistic is for children in middle to higher incomes, there's 12 books for every child. So think about when you were growing up, did you have access to reading material? You know, whether it be comic books or just children's books. But in low-income households, there's 1 book for every 300 children.
Oh my goodness.
So there's not enough access to books. So one simple way that we can increase reading and literacy is just making sure that there's reading material available.
Very good. Well, nice to hear it. Congratulations,
Thank you very
Deb.
much.
It is a
Thank
very
you.
important initiative. It does matter. Thank you to the Early Learning Coalition for partnering up to give great people like you this award, and of course acknowledging the Children's Services Council, because I said Early Learning Coalition, I mixed those up too. And of course the mayor of Port St. Lucie. We couldn't do the show without them, because it is, of course, Coffee with the Mayor. And to everybody that sticks with us month after month and they come down here, we really do appreciate you guys coming down to make sure that this stays on the air. Because without you, it probably wouldn't, right? And Mark, Bob, and Christine, and everybody, the staff here at the City of Port St. Lucie, what a great year we've been having here in Chambers. It's been really fun. And we look forward to seeing all of you next month. Remember, you can watch us at cityofpsl.com. We are on Hometown Cable, Comcast, and AT&T, I believe. So hopefully, if you don't come and join us, you're watching it at home. And I will see you all next month, everybody. Second Friday, 8:30 a.m.